Hello, this is Jamie Magrich. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. It's a simple stamping, and it only uses one stamp set, Flourishing Phrases. This is a 2-box set, but I'm only using the box 1 of 2. This is on the retiring list, so I wanted to use it a couple more times. I had this card designed before the list came out, but I wanted to go ahead and make it. It is using a technique called kissing, stamp kissing, and that's why I chose this set, because it has a solid image in it. So we're going to be using this image and just a note. And we're also using this. Okay, so let's get started. And with only ink pads, we have a memento, melon, mambo, and coastal cabana. The consumables: I have 2 1/4-inch strips of melon mambo. I have a 1/8 of a piece of whisper white, so it's 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. I have a piece of the coastal cabana, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and a piece of card base thick, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is bring in the coastal cabana piece and the coastal cabana ink. We're going to bring in that leaf, and we're going to stamp the leaf all over the background. Now these stamps have a wide edge around them, so just make sure you're not over inking and getting those edges. So we're just going to stamp it and turn it and fill up this background. I just got ink on there from my finger. Hopefully I can cover it up. I'm just stamping this whole background. No right or wrong, I'm just turning my stamps so I don't have the same image in a row, but you can have it be that way if you want. Some of them need to go off the page. I covered up my boo-boo, yay! One or two more. One over here. Okay, well, let's sneak one this way. There we go. Okay, so that's done. So we're going to place that aside. Actually, we could probably mount it right to our card base. Okay, now we'll place it aside, and we're going to bring in this piece. We're going to bring in the flower. Move this over so hopefully you can still see it. And we're going to use both this flower and this flower. Now this flower we're going to ink up with the coastal cabana. Ink it well. This one we're going to ink up with the melon mambo. I don't know why I can't remember the names of these inks today. Okay. And when it's inked well, you can see it's got good coverage on there. We're going to set it onto this stamp. That's what is called the kissing. So we're just going to set it on there. Don't slide it, just set it on there. Make sure it gets good coverage. And then we're going to stamp it right over here. what it's going to do is pick up some of this color onto this stamp. So it's going to have two different colors and two different patterns. You see that? Okay, now this is the important part. You don't want to stick this back into your Melon Mambo ink pad because you now have some Coastal Cabana mixed in there. So you need to clean it off. You might want to clean this off too. Sometimes you can get a second stamping off of it, but okay, ink this up. Okay, let's ink this one up again. Stamp it onto here and stamp it onto here. This time it's coming off the page. Okay. Wash that off. We're done with this one also. Let's wash this one off. Now we can come in with the leaves. We're going to add some leaves to this. We're going to line the leaves up, we're going to stamp, and we're going to turn it and stamp again. Just try not to push too hard because see how it gets the ink around the edge, otherwise you're going to have a halo and that's not fun. Okay, let's do a couple up here. I keep the tail of the leaf, the stem, in the same spot basically. Do a couple over here. I'm going to stick one down here. Okay, now we're going to bring in the Just a Note and the Memento black ink. Remount this. Wasn't on there right. Okay, ink it up well. Make sure I have it right side up. I'm going to stamp it up here in this corner. Awesome. Okay. I'm not sure you can tell, but I think you can see the texture as it's drying out between the, you see the extra color in those. Just adds a little bit of something. Okay, now we're going to turn it over and we're going to bring in those strips. They can be wider if you're more comfortable with that. Just wash these so I don't get ink on it and where I don't want it. I'll bring in my Tombow Mono Glue, or you can use your tape runner. I'm just going to put a small bead of glue along these long edges. Let's do one at a time. See, there's hardly any glue on there. I don't know if you can see it. And I'm going to add this, and they're longer than they need to be, so I can get them where I want them and then trim them. It's just easier for me. Okay, another one. Oops, stick your finger in the glue. Okay, I'm going to come in with my snips. I'm going to cut those extra links off. Yeah, let's see, I think it's easier this way. Because I can get that scissor right against that edge. Alright, now we're going to bring in our card base. Now you can put it on this way if you want. Oops. You can put it on but I designed the card this way, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on like that. And it's going to be about an inch from the top of the card. Knock that on there. There you go. There's a card we just made together. Here's the one I did previously. Now this one, I re-inked my stamp pad for this one. That's why it's bolder. Let me show you a couple other options or variations on it. This is the card vertically. I just added a layer behind the stamp layer. I cut this down a 1/4 inch so that this is the 1/8 of a card. And then I cut this down a 1/4 of an inch so I could add the pink layer behind it. And this one, I don't know if you can tell, I used the crackle background for the kissing. You can use any stamp you want. I just was wanting to keep it with one stamp set here. Okay, this is the card going this other direction. And again, this one I used the crackle background. You see how I could tell I needed to re-ink my stamp pad. And then this one, I used the leaves from Very Versailles back here in the background. And I stamped it off so that it's really soft and light. And then I used the same leaf as my kissing here. And then I used this other one, this one, on the background. So there's a lot of options here. I hope you have some fun with it. Thank you for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.